Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. Context. My sister 27 female and I 18 female lost our dad a year ago. He was my only parent. Mom was never in mine or my sister's life. Dad left money, inheritance for me and my sister, and she used her inheritance to get new cars and renovate her house. I live with my aunt right now because my brother-in-law didn't let me stay with my sister. I'm planning on using my inheritance money to pay for college tuition. I've always wanted to be a doctor, but haven't decided which branch yet. My sister and I haven't been close. It started after she got married to her chronically ill husband, who was allowed to make backhanded comments about Dad and mock his illness and make a scene at his funeral, only because he's ill and shouldn't be held accountable for his behavior. I've distanced myself, but my sister kept visiting a lot lately, venting about my brother-in-law's condition. He's been in and out of the hospital for heart problems and in need of surgery. She brought up my inheritance money several times, but I ended up cutting the conversation. She then straight up asked if I could help pay for her husband's surgery, and she would pay back in less than a year. I felt uneasy because if I give her money from my inheritance, which is a large amount, then there is no guarantee she will pay back before it's time to apply for college. I'm taking a year gap, but I know my sister can't pay back that much, and I felt it was risking my future. I refused to help, and she had a meltdown at my aunt's house, calling me heartless, cruel, with no empathy. She said that her husband's health should be a priority, and I need to help because education is nothing compared to someone's health, and asked if I would be happy to see her as a widow and my nephew with no father. My aunt suggested others pay, but most of them cut my sister and her husband off. I argued that her husband's poor health isn't my fault, after she kept blaming and guilt-tripping me. She kept crying, and although my aunt decided to stay out of it, she said that I should be prepared for permanent damage in my relationship with my sister if I don't help her now. She's been sending texts and pictures of her family telling me this is what I was saying no to: a happy, healthy family with a healthy husband and father. I cried and felt like I was being selfish, not a good aunt and sister. I asked my friend and he said let them sell the cars and all the luxurious stuff they bought to afford the surgery, and warned me if I give them money, I'll never get it back and may not be able to go to medical school. Not the a-hole OP. Your sister chose to spend money she got less than a year ago on expensive things instead of planning for the future like you did. Easy come, easy go, as they say. Do not give them a penny of your money. They have options they don't want to take, and that's not on you. You're not getting that money back if you lend it. You'll become a fine doctor someday. I'm rooting for you. Now for some comments. Your friend is correct. You'll never get the money back because sis isn't willing to give up her luxurious lifestyle. She chose how to spend her inheritance, didn't save for a rainy day, and isn't entitled to yours because of a poor financial planning. Not the a-hole. Cars depreciate in value quickly. It still isn't your problem that she decided to spend all of her inheritance unwisely. They're trying to live outside of their means as a family, which means if you give any money, be prepared to not get it back. Don't be surprised if you keep getting asked for more until you're left with nothing. You can have this relationship with your sister, or you can pay for medical school. You can't have both. But your sister and her husband seem toxic, so distancing from them should be your first step. Not the a-hole. And do not give her the money. You won't get it back, and honestly the way they're treating you when they need something from you just shows they neither like or respect you, which also means they won't be paying you back. Your sister could, number 1, get a job. Number 2, downsize the house and their lifestyle. 3, speak to the hospital about a payment plan. Or 4, get the surgery now, because it's an emergency, and figure out how they will pay for it later, like most people. She doesn't want to, she would rather just steal your future. Go to school and don't feel guilty. Story 2. I'm posting this at the request of my girlfriend. Recently, my girlfriend 27's best friend 28 has started planning her wedding. Even though she isn't engaged yet, she is dead set on going on a Disney cruise, knowing that her boyfriend has plans to propose soon when they go to Disney World. Now for some context. She does not have very much savings at all, and this entire friend group isn't 100% financially stable. In spite of this, she wants to have a wedding in 2022 on a Disney cruise and wants all of her friends to buy tickets for it. Now, this 4-day cruise is going to cost each person well over $1,000, which me and my girlfriend both find to be financially irresponsible. Well, pretty much all of her friends have agreed to go but her, and she seems to be getting painted as the a-hole for not wanting to go. She asked if they could do a small party or celebrate at home before the cruise for people who can't make it. The friend seemed upset and told her maybe. My girlfriend tried to point out that if their whole friend group, 5 girls, all did the same thing within the next few years, they would all be broke, or at least far behind on their savings. It's my impression that if you have an expensive destination wedding, you can't get upset if people don't go. Also, most weddings involve the couple setting up and paying for their own wedding, and invite people to come celebrate with them. The friend planning the wedding has said that she is doing this because she wants a small wedding, but doesn't want people she doesn't want to invite feel bad about not being invited, so by having an expensive destination wedding that they won't be able to go on. I find this extremely immature. I see it as her making herself and her friends pay thousands of dollars that they arguably can't afford or shouldn't spend so that she doesn't have to have a difficult and mature conversation with people. More information from my girlfriend. We've been friends since 4th grade, and she feels like a sister to me. I talked to one friend, 25 female, who said she's giving us over a year to save up and we should all be able to save up for her big day. My response was that we're all not wealthy people, and if all of our friends did this, we would be broke. The friend I talked to and her husband, mid-20s, eloped at the beginning of this year. All of our friends are currently getting engaged, looking to buy houses, having kids or saving up to be parents. I really feel like I should just give the future Disney cruise couple a cash wedding gift and just not go. But my other friends are making me feel like, am I the a-hole? Edit. In the spirit of objectivity and fairness, my girlfriend asked me to post some more information that I left out. The same month of the wedding, we already have a Disney World trip planned with my family. Her friends are mostly upset because they're seeing it as her choosing a vacation with her boyfriend. We've been together almost 3 years, and I know I'm going to marry this girl, just waiting on the right time to ask. Over her best friend's wedding. Also, the wedding is a 4-day trip that is more expensive than the 9-day Disney World trip that's planned with my family, in which my family is also helping us pay some of the cost of it being cheaper. You and your girlfriend are not a-holes, OP. You can't afford to spend over $2,000 for a trip, and that's reasonable. Your girlfriend's friend should understand this and not try to guilt you into having financial troubles for her sake. Just because the rest of her friends can afford it doesn't mean you guys can, and that's okay. If she wanted everyone involved in a big day, she should have thought about the expenses it would cost each person, especially since she knows how her friends are financially. Again, not the a-hole. I wish you good luck when you propose to your girlfriend. Now for some comments. You guys are not the a-holes. Whoever decides to have a big destination and expects all the friends to pay over $1,000 to attend is the ass. Does she not plan on having a bachelorette party? Because her friends, sure as shift, won't be able to pay for what she'd probably consider a proper party. Not the a-hole. As she said, she's having a destination wedding so that people don't come. You and your girlfriend aren't coming. That should fit within her intended parameters. You have better things to do with your money, especially if a cruise was not something you were looking at for a future vacation. I think you would be foolish to sacrifice your vacation and money for someone else's day. She's gonna be one bridezilla, I'm betting. Not the a-hole, because it is reasonable to decline an invitation that is not in your budget. That said, even though you're not the a-hole, not going to the wedding of someone who is like a sister to you is probably going to severely damage the relationship. That may be fine with you, but if you have the funds to go and just don't want to spend them on this, which is your right, I just make sure to think it through before you decline, so whatever decision you've made is well thought out. Story 3. I, 29 female, have 2 younger brothers. One, Mick, is a year younger, 28, and the other, Jed, is 7 years younger, 22. We didn't have the best childhood, and I ended up being taken in by a neighborhood family when I was 17. My brothers had to stay with my mom and stepdad. Over the years, I have been the most stable out of all 3 of us siblings. Mick started using drugs and having children with different women after high school, literally 7. I bailed him out of jail on several occasions. Some of his kids were taken by DHS and adopted out. I was attending college and Jed was still in the house with our abusive parents. During this time, I would answer calls at 3 a.m. in the morning from Jed and the police regarding abuse and drive to pick him up. I considered fighting for custody, but I was young and poor and didn't know what I was doing. Since then, Jed has lived with me off and on. After he started college, I was in law school part-time and working full-time during the day. I got married. I paid Jed's debts he accumulated during college, including back rent and fraternity dues, bought him groceries and put him on my phone plan. Never asked for anything in return. Jed dropped out of college and decided to move to another state to be closer with Mick. Mick is much more stable now, although our versions of stability are different. Although he has a drinking problem and has been known to use meth occasionally, he is keeping a job, a home, and taking care of his current kids and girlfriend who live with him. I think he's doing great compared to where he has been. I did advise Jed against moving to be closer to Mick due to my concerns with his lifestyle. Jed decided to go anyway, and that was fine since he made an informed decision. Here's the deal. Jed and Mick continue to ask me for money to help them out. First, to help pay for fines. Now, to help Jed get tags on his new car. My position has changed. I have graduated law school and have a job working on child welfare cases, so I don't make a ton of money, though way more than my brothers. I'm pregnant after 2 pregnancy losses and about to go on unpaid maternity leave. Jed is 22, almost 23, and both me and my husband believe Jed needs to learn to be responsible for his own finances. Mick has now asked me to help pay $1,000 for the car tags. I tell him no, Jed needs to save the money. Mick and Jed says, why can't I just do my part to help out? And I tell them they can't act like I've never helped them. I explain I have never had a problem helping and never asked for anything in return, but I just can't give out money anymore. Jed is still on my phone plan even though an extra line is expensive. Jed and Mick think I'm holding receipts over their heads. Mick states he's doing so much for Jed that I'm not doing, and he's going to help him even though he makes less money than me because there's no cap on his love. I'm tired of being made to feel like I don't love my brothers just because I won't give them money whenever they want. Am I the a-hole? Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. They are using you as an ATM and trying to make you feel guilty because you won't give them any more money. You are cognizant of this and have put into place healthy boundaries to protect your immediate family. You've done an admirable job helping them out when they were younger, but it's time that they learn how to take care of themselves. Not the a-hole. They need to both stand on their own 2 feet. You've done plenty, and for Mick to hold it over your head how much he's doing now, when you did it for years, is truly an a-hole move. Please stand your ground and don't let them guilt you into supporting them financially. Jed chose to drop out of college and go live near Mick. That's on him. He's an adult and should be acting like one. You have your own family to take care of now and they are your priority. You're not the a-hole. It is a tricky one because they're your brothers, and for family we go above and beyond. But there has to be a boundary in place. I would advise you to speak to Jed and come up with a payment plan of how much he can ask for per month. So for instance, he can only ask you for like £100 a month or something. I don't think you should stop helping him completely, but you can absolutely set boundaries and make sure you have a majority of your money for you and your family. Not more than a set amount, as otherwise it becomes ridiculous and a habit for him to do all the time.